I'm feeling really
How are you
sad.
feeling?
Commentary and the referee. Um, I see you making up a face, so you go first, can you?
I thought they were taking the absolute piss out of him. It's your girls, Katie and Sham, here at Boxing and Bantz. Back again with another update on boxing. A weekend full of upsets, winnings, great fights. Like, what can we say? Right, let's talk about Friday night. We watched K Prosper against Sandor Martin fighting for the European title in Barcelona. Sham,
Um, I'm feeling really
how are you
sad.
feeling?
I'm feeling really sad because two of the boxers that we, have appeared on our show, unfortunately lost this weekend. And, as you know, we don't like to show favoritism, but, we always have that little soft spot for the boxers that we interview because we get to know a little bit more about them. Okay, Prosper, I had, absolutely high hopes for this fight. As I said last week, I knew it was going to be a tough one for him because Sandor Martin has heaps of experience, had about double the amount of fights that he had. Southpaw. I believe Kay tried his best. I think he's got a few things to work on, but I'll let you go first. Let's talk about the performance first, because I know there's other things that we want to discuss outside of the performance that happened.
Of course,
what did you think of his performance?
What I would say before I start is congratulations to Sandor Martin, who came out victorious.
Absolutely.
And again, commiserations to K Prosper. We did have high hopes, but unfortunately, it just wasn't his time. What I will say is, I think Kay and the team need to think about this switching from orthodox to southpaw, southpaw to orthodox. I mean, just watching this fight, it wasn't effective. It wasn't. And he was actually fighting a southpaw. And in actual fact, he seemed very hesitant when he was southpaw, uncertain. Like, it's almost like in his face, it was like, what should I do next? I felt as well he was thinking too much, which you could see again in his face. And he looked out of his depth. And he had a weak jab only for me when he was in southpaw.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It was when he was in southpaw.
It was weak.
I think, for me, I wasn't surprised that he went from orthodox to southpaw so much because I've seen him do it in the past. There's not a lot of footage of K Prosper online of his previous fights, but of those that I've seen him do it. So I wasn't surprised, and I think against the less experienced boxer that would have worked well.
Exactly.
Sandor Martin, however, has that experience, and he's a classy boxer. Also, what I found, I mean, you've already said, his jab became weaker when he was in southpaw. He also, I noticed their feet kept getting tangled up as well, which is another problem because then you've got a balance issue. So I saw a few times he kind of stumbled, but it wasn't because he was hit so hard that it's because he literally stumbled because they kept sort of tripping over each other. I started to wonder if there was a bit of a confidence issue with Kay, maybe because it was on such a big platform, maybe because he was fighting someone who is so experienced. I'm not sure, but I just felt he was being a bit hesitant, which is very unsure. Yeah, and particularly while he was in southpaw as well, it seemed to make a difference because I think he's just more comfortable as an orthodox boxer, I guess.
Yeah, and he had most of his success in the orthodox stance.
Yeah.
So,
I would say, he's got to go away and review the fight, look at what went wrong with it, and just come back stronger, which I'm sure he will. And on the plus side, he didn't go in and get beat up for 12 rounds. He didn't go down. And some boxers would have. And he actually bloodied Sandor Martin's nose, didn't he, as well? I think round 4 or something like that. K Prosper has something there. He's got potential. He's shown it to us thus far. I think he fell short in this fight, but it was a step up fight, you know, and he's going to learn from it and he'll come back. So that's what I feel about the performance. I would like to touch a little bit on the commentary and the referee. I see you making up a face, so you go first, can you?
I don't know if everyone was watching what we watched and, you know, saw and heard what we heard. I thought they were taking the absolute piss out of him. Excuse my language. But at some parts, I thought it was actually disrespectful. Mm-hmm. I want to pick and choose my words very carefully. Mm-hmm. Even just the referee himself. Maybe let's start with the ref. I mean, he got 2 points deducted, right? Okay.
The first point, we don't actually know what it was right for, as far as I know. Even the commentators didn't know what the first point was taken off for. And I actually have gone back and looked at some articles, and still nobody knows what that point was taken off for.
No one knows.
Maybe it was clarified to Kay and his team later on, but up to now, I still don't know. And the second one was for a low blow, apparently, but didn't look like.
And it was above the boxes, though.
Exactly.
Commentary said it was above the boxes, so the waistband. Sorry, yeah.
So that was that. We kept talking about Kay hitting Sandor Martin on the back of the head. Mm-hmm. Kept picking up for that. I mean, I don't feel there were valid reasons to take a point. I don't believe it would have changed the result, and I think the scorecards were right. But I don't think there were valid reasons. Onto the commentary. Again, like I'll pick my words carefully, but what I will say is this. There were some bits of constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. So they made some valid points about Kay's performance, about Sandor's performance. However, there were moments to me that just felt like they were slightly mocking K Prosper. And for me, that was very disappointing. I don't see them do it with other boxers when they lose. No. It's not helpful, you know, it's not helpful to him. But when he's looking back over the fight, he needs to see, you know, I'm sure his team, you know, Zav, you know, the team will give him, you know, pointers when they watch it back. But also the commentators can help. They'll see things, you know, and it's not helpful to sort of sound like you're mocking him, you know, talking about, well, I certainly didn't know about him before this. You know, it really sounded like they were just taking the mickey a bit, and I don't like it, and I think it's unfair and uncalled for.
Exactly, and it then becomes a little bit disrespectful. So, you know, we get up and we move. But one thing I'll say about IQ, I love how Zav and Nick, the advice that they give their corner, you know, the boxers, when they go back to the corner, the advice they give them is top notch. Because you listen to some trainers and they don't say anything to them. They don't give them no direction, no form of, you know, how to tackle left hooks, right hooks, or whatever the case is. But although it didn't, you know, obviously work for Prosper, but big up Zav, big up Nick and IQ Boxing, and we moved, we come again.
Absolutely. So on to the second fight we're going to discuss, Denzel Bentley and Felix Cash at York Hall on Saturday. That was for both of their separate British middleweight titles. Again, feeling a bit sad, but obviously, you know, congrats to Felix Cash. They were both undefeated before Saturday. And as I said at the top of the fight, you know, someone has to lose their O.
That's it.
And it was Denzel, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Question to you. Do you think it was stopped at the right time?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
I say yes, because there was a ferocious flurry of punches coming at Denzel. Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, Cash unloaded his straight right hand, left, left Bentley hanging on the ropes and then followed it up with more spiteful shots. Now, that didn't even give Denzel Bentley any time to breathe, move, think. And to be fair, he looked out of it. So yes, I'm glad the ref intervened in the third round when he did.
What do you think Denzel needs to relook at, improve on following that performance?
I will tell you the biggest problem I saw watching it back was he had no guard, no defense. I didn't see anything. He left himself open a lot. And it was almost like he would throw a shot but not protect himself for what was coming back.
Exactly. And they're both counter punches. If you look at Felix, his success, a lot of his success came from, because, you know, Denzel was throwing, right? Denzel was throwing just as hard, I believe. But Felix's high guard, like right up over his head, you know. Denzel's hands were down a lot of the time, or they were very low. They were very low. So you're not prepared for what's going to come at you. Even if you throw a punch, you're not prepared for the counter punch. And additionally, I think he was on the ropes too much, and getting backed into the corner. And that's not a good place to be. And ultimately, that's where the fight was stopped. It was him on the ropes. And I just kept saying to myself, you know, just don't let him corner you on the ropes, because it's downhill from there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a difficult one. I also saw some balance issues with him as well. But I think Denzel played some good body shots. But ultimately, Felix Castle was just so aggressive from round one.
Yeah.
I gave him round one, and I felt like Denzel was making a bit of a comeback in round two, and then round three it was just all over, quickly.
Yeah, he had meaningful shots more in the second round, but then it was just over. I think Cash was just that little bit more quicker than him.
Most definitely.
Yeah, a little bit more quicker, and his guard and defense and everything. And like you said, he had his hands way up, whereas Bentley would drift with his low left, and he didn't change his pattern. He didn't change his pattern. He was almost like Cash read him. So
absolutely.
Yeah, he read him, and then he went for the kill because he smelled blood. He was like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
man.
I saw a little post on Denzel's Instagram, and he was speaking about feeling as though he had let people down, and I really hope that he doesn't take that on board and take that to heart. All good boxers lose at some point or another.
That's it.
And just come back stronger. That's all it is. He's got time. It's certainly not the end of his career. And I can't wait to see more from both of them, really.
Me too. Well done to both, all boxers. Well done to all of them. And yeah, I didn't really know about Felix Cash beforehand, but yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. Very, very. So that takes us to the end of the show, girl. Guys, before I close this, when we wear something, of different merch from different boxers or trainers or coaches or whatever, we'll let you guys know where we got it from, who they are, and their ats on Instagram or, wherever it will be, Twitter. What I'm wearing today is a sweatband from John Harding Jr., Hard Knocks Wear, it's called. So follow them on Instagram, Hard Knocks Wear, and get your sweatbands, your t-shirts, your masks, and other little merches that you can get. So that's John Harding Jr.'s, brand. But yes, to close it off, we are Boxing and Bantz. Follow us at Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, Follow us on Twitter and also Facebook at Boxing and Bantz.
Thanks a lot, Katie. So we are Katie and Sham at Boxing and Bantz. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.